A new family. The white blanket of snow crunched under my feet. It was the middle of January, the coldest part of the year. Se-yeon, come here! A sharp, grumpy voice shouted. Ugh, there goes that monster again. He could break this building with his voice. Coming, I say as I dragged my feet to his office. What now? I knocked softly on his brown wooden door. Come in, a low voice muttered. I slowly opened the door as I carefully stepped into his office. Sit down. His calm voice ringed around the quiet room. I sat down on the big worn-out couch in front of his desk in the awkward silence. The soundlessness breaks with a calm but edged voice. A few people got picked from different divisions, and their appointment to another country was announced officially a few days ago. And that country is Beijing, China. You see where I'm going? I was speechless. I had no idea what was going on. So was I one of those lucky people? Do I have to move to another country that I know nothing about? The silence broke once again with his voice. We got chosen to leave here. We're leaving on the last day of January, so you have plenty of time to straighten things up. You can go now. It took me quite a bit of time to think about what I should do next. Should I just quit this job and get another one? But I knew how hard it was to get a job in a place like Korea. How bad can it be in Beijing? It's just moving to a new city, right? Soon the last day of January arrived. Our team made sure everything was set, tidied in Beijing, as we stepped onto the plane for a new adventure. The aircraft landed with a thunderous sound as I woke up from my narrow economy plane seat. The airplane ride was a nightmare for me. There was a kid behind me who kept kicking the seats, not letting me get even a wink of sleep. I tugged my lifeless body out of the plane, almost forgetting to pick my luggage. The not-so-fresh Chinese air welcomed me as it breathed through my clothes. I strolled through the airport. All I had was my new house address written on a piece of crumpled paper. I clenched my luggage and the piece of paper in both hands and walked through the pathway. The taxi bounced as I climbed on the smoke-stained vehicle. I unfolded the wrinkled piece of paper and showed it to the taxi driver. He said something in Chinese that I couldn't really understand. I just nodded, like I totally understood what he said. The taxi arrived in a city-like place. People say that it's something like the Chinatown in Korea, but just the other way around, a Korean town in China. I saw many familiar. Rubbing my eyes and yawning, I woke up and sighed heavily, sitting down on my bed. I glanced at the clock. It was still 6:45. All my things were now here, tidied and set. The offices were too. It was already the beginning of February. Everyone was getting ready to enjoy the happy Chinese New Year. I ate my breakfast, taking my sweet time, and got ready for work until I realized that I was late. I hassled out the door and quickly checked the address for a new office and stretched my arm for a taxi. I stretched my arm once more until I finally caught one. I sat down as I showed the taxi driver the address and flew off for work. Gasping and panting, I ran up the stairs and finally reached the 7th floor. I arrived in the office out of breath and I see everyone looking at my direction. My, look who's here. 10 minutes, Miss Kim, 10 minutes! The voice gradually increased as it spoke. You know how much I hate tardies, Miss Kim. I thought we were over with this issue now. Sorry, I muttered so soft almost no one could hear. If you guessed that the voice was my boss, you're absolutely correct. He slammed a bundle of papers on my desk and stomped out of the office. I sighed deeply. It wasn't the first time, so I knew how mad he would get, but this was just the start. Se-yeon, get me a cup of coffee! A high-pitched voice hollered from the other side of the office. Me too! Another voice pops up. Everyone in this team are now asking me to do everything. photocopying, getting coffee, sending emails, and so on. If I wrote all this down, it would never end. The clock hit 6 and everyone was prepared to leave. As I was about to pack, I heard some bad news. Zayan, please stay a little longer. The rest are all dismissed. Why does everyone have to pick on me? I sigh. His cold voice continues. Please finish this report. I'll be expecting it to be done by tomorrow. My boss walks out without even looking back or saying bye. All I hear is the clock ticking and my own breath. I sighed again once more, opened up my computer, and began to write the report. I stretched out my arms and looked at the clock. It was already midnight. I closed my computer with the finished report and prepared to go home. My legs dragged my tired body as I got on the bus. I arrived home exhausted. My back ached as I woke up. It's a typical Saturday where I wake up at 11. We're off for a week because of Chinese New Year. But yet I feel so tired and worn out. It was probably because I worked too hard for the past few weeks. I checked my fridge and realized that I ran out of food and water, so I decided to go out. The streets were covered in red decorations and some had monkeys to symbolize the year of the monkey. Everyone looked like they were happy and excited. The malls and streets were loaded with people. My back ached as I woke up. It's a typical Saturday where I wake up at 11. We're off for a week because of Chinese New Year. But yet I feel so tired and worn out. It was probably because I worked too hard for the past few weeks. I checked my fridge and realized that I ran out of food and water, so I decided to go out. The streets were covered in red decorations and some had monkeys to symbolize the year of the monkey. Everyone looked like they were happy and excited. The malls and streets were loaded with people. Clank! An ear-splitting sound busted through my ear. Fireworks burst into the air to make stunning flowers. It's the day before Chinese New Year, February 7th. I walk out the streets to see them more clearly. The sky is covered in beautiful flowers, all different sizes, shapes, and colors. I stare at the sky the whole night, wondering how amusing tomorrow would be. I woke up fresh and hurried out the door. I could hear the drums and gongs for the lion and the dragon dance. The lions and dragons rolled round and around, went up and down, and made a beautiful dance together. I sat down on a bench to watch it all over again, until someone tapped me in the shoulder. I immediately twist my body to see who it is. An old lady, so lovely and warm, is looking right at me. I wonder who it is until she says something in Chinese. 你好，我们想邀请外国人来我们家吃饭。我们想暂时当你们的家庭。I don't understand Chinese, I say softly. Can you speak in English? Of course, sorry for the confusion. We would like to invite foreigners to come to our house tonight and eat dinner together. We would love to have you with us this evening, replied the old lady. I would be more than happy to. When and where does it take place? I asked. She handed me a piece of paper and said, See you then, 再见. At 6, I arrived at a normal Chinese house. The door had red papers with calligraphy on it. Paper lanterns and Chinese furniture were easily spotted in the house. About 5 to 10 people slowly began to fill the space. Please help yourself, the old lady announced. Everyone gathered around a round circular table. From young to old, a variety of people were invited. We happily started to eat the traditional food, jiaozi, and some Chinese fish. We asked a lot of questions to each other. Nationality, age, how we ended up here, and so on. At 6, I arrived at a normal Chinese house. The door had red papers with calligraphy on it. Paper lanterns and Chinese furniture were easily spotted in the house. About 5 to 10 people slowly began to fill the space. Please help yourself, the old lady announced. Everyone gathered around a round circular table. From young to old, a variety of people were invited. We happily started to eat the traditional food, jiaozi, and some Chinese fish. We asked a lot of questions to each other: nationality, age, how we ended up here, and so on. A week flies fast, looking around, resting, and having fun in this festive atmosphere. We're back to Monday and back to work. I wake up fresh and lightheaded. I hum the Chinese New Year songs as I prepare to go to work. Humming happily, I skip to the bus station and wait for the bus as I carefully look around. I hop onto the bus and get ready for a fresh new day.